All right, today more than ever, you need to have the flexibility of being able to quickly put text behind objects in your video. I came up with a quick tutorial that I think will help you if this is something you need to do. So let's go ahead, jump in After Effects and take a look at it. Okay, so basically what I'm going to walk through today is how to do a basic cutting out someone from the background and putting text behind them. Now, the first thing is I got a composition. I want to cut two people out. So the first thing I need to do is I need to duplicate each layer that I want to cut out. And now that I've done that, I'm going to come up here to my roto brush tool. And I'm just going to double click on one of the people that I want to cut out. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come up with a really basic shape here just to start off and let the roto brush kind of figure out what it's doing. And you can see the roto brush does a pretty good job of getting in there. I just need to refine it. And, you know, you can see you just kind of come in and refine it. Now, what I'm going to do, if I want to add something, I can just basically come back over and it'll do it. Now, if I need to subtract something, I just hold on the Option key. And then the Option key will let me subtract that. And you can see it does a pretty good job. It's pretty fast. And I can kind of come in here just to make sure I got this exactly where I want. That's a little too much. An Option key, take that out. And I think that will be good enough for government work right there. And what I want to do that I found is important to do too is I need to come over to my feather on the roto brush mat over here. And I'm just going to increase that. I find that putting it at about 30 or so kind of gives me a softer edge. And then once I've done that, what I'm going to do is now that I'm on the first frame, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to come back and just add a little bit more here too. And maybe delete this one right here. And then I just hit space bar. And I'm going to let this thing play forward now. You can see up here it's showing me how many frames it's doing. But what this lets me do is it lets me play through the entire source of this. And I can just make sure that the mat is going to stay where I want it to be. If there's something wrong there, I can then come back and change it. But this is a pretty stationary, easy thing to cut out, so it should be pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let it play out. And then once it plays out, you'll see now that it plays in real time. You'll see the mask. You can see it moving. That looks good to me. So the last thing I need to do is I need to freeze the mask. So I'm going to hit freeze. And as you can see, this is just kind of locking the roto brush and edge into place. So we let it render all out. And boom, now it's rendered. Now I can come back to my composition and actually, if I hide the layers here, you can see now that I do have this one thing cut out. So now that I want to have two people, so what I'm doing is now I'm going to come to my second person and I'm going to repeat the process. I'm going to come up to my roto brush. I'm going to double click on him on a layer. I'm going to zoom in just so I can see that a little better. I'm just going to draw a basic shape kind of around him. Let it kind of decipher it on its own. And now I can just go ahead and refine it. Hold on the Option key to subtract. Subtract that. I want to add just this little bit of the couch right there. I did a pretty good job. Add this right here. Too much. I'm going to add that. And I'm just going to continue to come in and refine it. And it sometimes takes a couple times just to get it exactly right. But I do find that the program does a pretty good job of making intelligent guesses about what you ultimately want to have. I'm just going to come and pull this in just a little bit more down here. You can always zoom in and get a little more refined like this right around his ear. Maybe get a little bit more of his hair in here. Like that. Boom. Boom. And you can see how ragged it is. So once again, I'm just going to take this. I'm going to jump this up to like say 30. And you can see that it just really smooths that out. I like that a lot better. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out again. And now I just hit the space bar. And now the space bar will track forward, and you'll see it tracking forward. Let's make sure the mask stays where I want it to do. It looks like it tracks pretty well there. Now you can see it playing in real time, or watching the mask in real time. It looks like it does it pretty good. And then I'm going to finish it off by hitting freeze. All right, now that we've rendered it back, I can come back to my composition. And once again, now you can see both of them are isolated, which is exactly what I want. And now that it's rendered out, you can see if I hide the background, you can see everybody there's nice and cut out, which is exactly what I want. And then what I'm doing is I'm just going to go ahead and input the layers that I want. Now I have this text that I've already pre-made. I'm going to put that behind everyone. And what you're going to see here is if I do this now, the fonts will come in and then be behind whoever I want it to be. Cool. And now that I have that, you can see I can basically have it all. And it all plays in and does exactly how I want it to play out. I have my words behind my actors, and I am good to go.